Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Evan. Welcome to the Cartoon Block. Today I'm going to show you guys how to color InuYasha using Copic markers. Get back here in a few seconds and we'll get started. Some of the markers I'll be using today come in Copic's Manga Wallet A 24 pack. Here I already have my sketch of InuYasha, and I'll be using this Canson Bristol board to place on top of it. Now I'm going to turn on my light box and go ahead and trace the drawing onto the Bristol board. Next I'll grab my Pilot brush pen and start practicing a few strokes. Always go ahead and practice with your products and your tools before you put them on your finished drawing. So here I'll start with his hair and get those strokes, lay them down, take your time. With some of his longer strands of hair, make sure you tackle those in one fell swoop. You don't want to start a line and then make it jagged. In your pencil sketches, that'll be okay, but for hair, you don't want to take too long because the ink, especially on a brush pen or a technical pen, the ink can blotch up. And there we have it. That's the ink drawing. Now switching over to my Copic multi-liner pens using the 0.5 pen, I can go ahead and finish the technical parts of his sword that I want to use. Now before we use the Copic markers, you want to use a couple of sheets of paper below your drawing so that the ink doesn't bleed through. So let's grab the Cool Zero marker, and using the brush tip end, we're going to go ahead and start kind of lightly putting in the base color of the shadow of InuYasha's hair. And what I like about the brush tips is that it's like a brush. You simply just stroke it on the paper. Now we're going to go a little bit darker with the C1. And the C1 will help give the hair a little bit more deeper shadow. Always remember, start from light and then work your way to darker tones. And I'll go ahead and continue outlining some of the shadows on his hair and his bangs, and then go ahead and fill it in with the C1. And here I'm just going to just use the C1 because it's the other side of his head. Now going on to the C2 color, we'll go ahead and putting in a fine deeper side of the shadows, and just gradually work your way from light to dark. And this is the cool thing about Copic markers, is that you can always just gradually lay the colors down, and especially when they're still wet, they blend right into each other. So if you let the markers dry, they'll give you a different effect when you put one color on top of another. So that's pretty much his hair. And now we're going to use the E00, the skin white, to start putting in the base color for his skin using the chisel tip end of the marker. And there are certain parts of his face that I'm going to leave white, and that will represent the highlight, or highlights rather, on his face. So I have one on his chin down here, his lower lip, and the side of his head. And you want to go ahead and fill this in so the color or the marker color does blend into the paper. And be careful around this area where his eyes should remain white. Now moving on to the E2, the fruit pink color, we're going to begin laying down the shadow for his face. So E00 gives us his base color, and now we want his shadow color. And just lay a cast shadow down for his neck, the side of his head, and under his nose, his bangs, anywhere you think a shadow would fall on his face. Now we'll switch over to the E34. This color will give your shadow that deep darkness, thus giving your figure overall depth. It won't make it seem flat. And now we're going to switch over to the Y17, and we're going to tackle his pupils. So we're going to go ahead and lay down this yellow golden color on the outer parts of his pupils, and going to use a deeper, darker color like E37 to put that brownness down there. And going down to his hands, we're going to use the same colors that we use on his face. You're going to put the base color down with E00, and then the shadow color with E02, and then the deep color with E34. Now it's time to start putting some color on his clothes. So we'll start with the RV25 to put down the base color for his kimono. And you're going to go ahead and start laying it down using the chisel tip of the marker, while leaving some white spots for highlights as well. Now going to the RV29, this color will now give us the shadow of his kimono. So the RV25 was our base, and the RV29 will be our shadow marker. And continue to fill in the remaining shadow areas. Now we're going to hop back on the E00 to color in the furry part of InuYasha's sword. Who can tell me what that part of his sword is called? And then we're going to grab the E37 to start putting in color on his sword handle, and pick up the YRO2 to give it its lighter color on the handle, while leaving some white areas for the highlight. You always want to leave that highlight on there. And then put the yellow down. Next, I want to tackle the flesh on his sleeves right there, using the same colors we did for his hands and neck and face. Now we want to tackle those beads around his neck using this B69 to put in you can just color these in fully, because what we're going to do is use this Presto white to go ahead and put in the highlight on there. I like using this whiteout tube because it allows you to quickly put down highlights over solid colored in dark areas. Now going up to his ears, using the same flesh tones we used before, these same three colors. I'm gonna put in the darker one, the E34. And keep in mind that Copic markers, when you lay them down quickly while they're still wet, they blend very well together. And there you have it. That's InuYasha! Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys, it's time for a giveaway. Cartoon Block and Copic are giving away a 24-piece sketch marker manga set and a set of multi-liner pens. For your chance to win, follow these simple steps. One random winner will be announced Saturday on the Cartoon Block Twitter page. Good luck!